I never imagined I'd become one of those people who completely cut ties with their parents, but here I am. And truthfully, I don't regret it. On the surface, I grew up in what most people would call an ideal suburban home. White picket fence, 2 cars in the driveway, family dinners every night, the whole dream. But beneath that polished image there were cracks. Deep, splintering ones that only grew as I got older. My parents, let's call them Carol and Ted, were experts at conditional love. My sister, Emily, could do absolutely no wrong. Even when she got into legal trouble, skipped auditions, or wrecked a car, she was still the golden child. Meanwhile, I was expected to be perfect. Straight A's, spotless room. Polite, helpful, never a problem. And still, it was never enough. I remember one Christmas when I was 12. I spent weeks crafting a handmade scrapbook for them. Pages full of drawings, memories, photos. Emily grabbed a chipped mug from the dollar store at the last minute. Guess who they called thoughtful? That was the story of my life. Years later, when Emily got accepted into an average acting school after flunking out of her dream one, they threw her a huge party. When I got into a top law school with a full scholarship, I got a handshake and a warning not to brag. Still, I kept believing. If I just try a little harder, I told myself, maybe they'll finally see me. Fast forward to adulthood. I built a solid career as a lawyer, bought my own condo by 27, and met Daniel. Kind, funny, steady, everything I ever hoped for. We dated 3 years before getting engaged. When I told my parents, they barely reacted. My mom just nodded. My dad said, "You sure he can afford to support a family?" Funny thing was, I made more than Daniel, and we split everything equally. But I brushed it off, telling myself they'd come around. Our wedding was small but beautiful. Vows in a garden, soft music, only close friends and family. I sent my parents' invites 6 months early. Called them every month with updates. Even offered to cover their flights and hotel, since they lived 2 states away. Every time, their answers were vague. "We'll see. That's a long trip. We'll try." Still, I hoped. Then the day came. I stood there in my suit, boutonniere pinned, scanning the crowd. No Carol. No Ted. At first, I thought maybe their flight was delayed. Maybe they were parking. Maybe, but they never came. No call, no message. I smiled through photos, laughed through speeches, pretending I wasn't the son whose parents didn't think his wedding was worth showing up for. 2 days later, my phone buzzed. A text from my mom. "Hope the wedding went well. We decided last minute to catch Emily's play. Couldn't pass up the tickets." They skipped my wedding for Emily's play. I called trying to hold it together. I wasn't angry yet, just hurt. When they answered, they were laughing, applause echoing behind them. "Oh, don't be so dramatic," my dad said. "It's not like it was the royal wedding." "Yeah," my mom added. "We figured you'd be too busy to notice." Too busy to notice. I hung up. I just sat there staring at my phone, trembling, not with anger yet, but with something heavier. Hurt. Disbelief. Emptiness. Daniel was incredible through all of it. He held me when I broke down, reminded me that my worth was never tied to people too blind to see it. Over the next few months, I began to let go, piece by piece. No more calls. No updates. No Christmas cards or birthday messages. Just silence. And the saddest part? They didn't even seem to notice. 2 years passed before our lives took a beautiful turn. Daniel and I adopted our first child, a little girl named Lily. The moment I held her, everything shifted. She looked at me like I was her whole world, and in that instant, I made a promise. She would never feel the kind of emptiness my parents left me with. She'd always know she was loved, seen, and safe. We didn't tell my parents about her. Not at first. But 3 months later, I got a voicemail from my mom. Her voice was tight, controlled, like she was trying to sound calm. "Call me back when you get this," she said. "We heard you adopted. We want to meet our granddaughter." But I never called. Then last year, everything came crashing down for them. Emily got caught up in serious legal trouble, fraud, tied to her so-called acting career. My parents were drowning in the chaos. That's when the calls started. First mom. Then Dad. Then my aunt. Can you come help for a while? Just a few weeks. You've always been the responsible one. I ignored every message. Until one day, my mom sent a text that shattered the calm I'd built. I know you're still upset about the wedding, she wrote, but family forgives, and now we need you. So I called. She picked up instantly. I knew you'd come around, she said softly. I didn't answer right away. Then I asked, do you remember when I asked why you skipped my wedding and you laughed? The line went quiet. Well, I said, I laughed when I saw your message. Before she could respond, I hung up. Then I blocked her. Blocked my dad. Blocked Emily too, right after she texted, stop being so bitter, they're old. I wasn't bitter. I was finished. It's been nearly a year since that call. Daniel and I are expecting our second child now. Lily's thriving, curious, kind, full of life. Our home is warm. It's filled with laughter, bedtime stories, and the kind of love I never had growing up. I've realized something powerful. Family isn't about blood. It's about presence. It's about who stays, who loves you without conditions, who makes you feel like you matter. And when people show you, time and again, that they don't care, believe them. Walking away was painful, yes, but it was also freeing. Because now, when I laugh, it's real. It's joy, not pain. And I've made a promise to myself. My children will never have to beg for love. Not like I once did.